Hello and welcome back to the channel. So today I thought I would sit down with you and kind of catch up. It's been a minute since I sat down and talked about what I was working on, what I've completed. Have I even completed anything? I can't remember. That's sad. And what I kind of am planning on doing for the month of August because it's been a little crazy. I do have some thrifted yarn that I want to bust into the bag and check it out with you because I haven't even looked at it yet, and a couple other little small things I want to show you that I picked up. But mostly, we're just going to be talking about whips. And there's a lot. It's been a while since I've got to sit down and talk works in progress with you all. And that's like one of my favorite things to do is talk about the yarns and the patterns, and I've missed it. But I've been super busy this summer. We have volunteered for not one, but three camps at our church, and it has absorbed all the time, which is fine. It was a lot of fun, and I do not regret it at all. But I would thought I would go ahead and jump right into. I kind of want to break into the yarn first. Is that okay with you? I hope so because I bought this the other day and I have not even had a chance to like see what was in here. And so I got this at a local yarn store. It was not. It was a local thrift store, and I paid $1.99, whopping $1.99. It looks like some of this could be some natural fiber. I'm pretty sure this definitely is. This is a hand dye with some gold stellina. Oh, look at that. That's going to make something really cute for an ornament. I'll weigh these and kind of figure out yardage. They don't have any kind of weird smells, which is always good. Really love that colorway. It's like a light mauve. And then here's some bits. This kind of feels like a fingering weight that has a cotton possibly in it. It's just a little bit, but I love bits like this, bits and bobs, because I use them for ornaments and for stuffies. Here is some white of this mauve. One of my local ladies is probably like, I donated that and I bought it. So if you're watching this and you did donate this to my local thrift store, let me know what you made with these. And let me know who you are. I like those a lot. Then we have, this is definitely some soft yarn. Could be sport. I need to do some wraps per inch. I like those. And then this is like Tweety. I don't know what this is. This may be an acrylic. Maybe not. It may be just a Tweety woolen spun of some sort. This is, I'm guessing, a mohair. I don't know if it's an acrylic base or what. I can do a burn test. And if you don't know what a burn test is where you cut off a snippet of the yarn and then you literally burn it. And depending on how it reacts, that's how you know what the base of the yarn is. I think if it's like a natural wool or something, it burns to like an ash. There's like a whole list. I'll drop that burn test information down in the description of the video for you in case you would like to read more into that. This also has a really pretty gold stellina. I'm guessing these three were like used together in something. What do you think? Then we have some of this. I'm pretty sure this was a yarn that Yeevy's carried. And Yeevy's is a yarn store that I've talked about before. There's actually this whole video dedicated to this yarn store because it closed down, and I love that yarn store. But I'm pretty sure this is one of the yarns from there. It may be a trekking base, or it could be an opal or a regia. That's what it reminds me of. The way the color is, and the way that it's plied and stuff. And I could be totally wrong. Who knows? Who knows? And then there's also some in blue. So that's the same yarn, just different shades. But I think that was a pretty good deal for $1.99. I can see myself making several little things out of these. So I consider that a good deal. So I am making a knitted stuffy. It's going to be a squid, and I'll talk more about that pattern in a minute when I get to whips. But I needed some new eyeballs for it, and I have a bunch of eyeballs over there, but all I have is the black eyeballs, and I wanted some super cool, colorful eyeballs for my squid, naturally, because he's going to be a cool dude. And this is kind of all brought on by Shark Week, which is kind of Shark Month now, and I'm not mad about that at all, by the way. But I ordered some eyeballs off Amazon, and I was super excited to get these in because I'm like, those are cool eyeballs. And they're supposed to be 10mm eyeballs. And I decided to keep them, even though that obviously they're not going to work because I'm like, I can use these for my monsters book. So I'm not mad about that either. And I will link the link for these down below, but just know that they're pretty small, but they're super cool and you get like a good bit of them, which is a good deal. There's all different colors, and so I decided just to keep them. That meant that I needed something bigger for my squid because these are not going to be big enough. And I thought about trying to order some more, but I have to have this squid done by the end of the month, or I'm going to get kicked out of my Harry Potter house cup. And no one wants to get kicked out of Hogwarts. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, I'm going to link a video where I talk about this year-long Hogwarts knit-along that I'm doing, and you can reference back to that. So I went to Hobby Lobby and I saw these big eyes. I don't like love these. I don't know. These may work. I need to just kind of, when I get his body made, try on different eyeballs. And then I saw these eyeballs. They're called wiggle eyes. They don't even wiggle, which is kind of stupid. And these are safety eyes, but if you notice, there's always a warning label because none of these are safe. They will pop off. So this is not going to be intended for a kid at all. This is just for my own personal use. But I got these yellow ones and I got these kind of green cat eyes. And so I may use these. I don't know. It's just a eyeball conundrum over here in Artopia. I don't know what I'm going to do. So I'm not going to be talking about every one of my whips because we don't have time for that. I think I have 18 whips, possibly 19. It's a lot. We'll go through those another day. We're just going to be talking about the main ones that I've kind of been working on in the last 3 months because that's probably the last time I put out a video about whips. And so the first one I'll talk about is what I'm actually working on right now, and that is my octopus. It's not an octopus, it's a squid. I think I even called it octopus earlier. It's a squid. It's Takeo the Bobtail Squid by Kate Carter Evans, and this is a free pattern, and this is probably gonna look familiar because I shared this pattern on my community tab about 3 weeks ago. If you're new to my channel, every Monday I put out a post that has anywhere from 4 to 6 free patterns, both knitting and crochet, for you to enjoy. And those are all going to be free links, and always the links are provided in the post. And that's just my way to hope to encourage you to get crafty that week and to spend time with yarn. But this is a free pattern and it's from Infinite Twist. They utilized Aran weight. They utilized one of her hand spuns or a natural fiber. I'm not. I'm using some I Love This Yarn Stonewash, but this is in the colorway Crimson Swirl. So this is the body. You can see that I've already got 4.5 tentacles done. Super cute. And this is its head. It's going to be rather large. Like this. So the way this works up is you make its head first. And here's another little thing that I'm really not happy about, but I'm just kind of having to make it work moment. When knitting, especially knitting or crocheting, any kind of stuffies, then you really should go down a hook or needle size, possibly 2. This is an Aran weight yarn and it's acrylic, so it's pretty stiff as it is. And so I should be using a US 7 on it. However, I'm wanting to make this on DPNs because I can use DPNs and not have to look at my knitting. And unfortunately, apparently, I don't have any US 7 DPNs. I thought I did. I do not. Which I ordered some. And they're going to be in an unbagging video that I'm going to be recording later on this week. When I started this, I did not have any. So what I did have was some US 8, which is a 6mm. They are the Addict flip sticks, I think is what they're called. And it has a more of a blunt tip on one side and a sharper tip on the other. And I like these because you get 5 different colors. So it kind of makes it fun, I guess you can say. I don't even know. But my gauge is a little loose. My tension is a little loose with these because I'm not going to overstuff this. And what I'm probably going to do is just make it and like have it sitting somewhere in here or hanging from something. So it's not going to be that big of a deal. And if I get to the point where I think I can see the stuffing inside of it, then I will just figure out something. I don't know. Maybe I'll line the inside of it with red felt and then I don't have to worry about it. We'll get to that bridge when we get to that bridge. It's a worry for another day and not today. So this is how my head's looking. I do like this little detail here. I don't know what happened there. It's just the way the yarn is. It's just a really ugly decrease right there. It happens, friends. This side looks much nicer. Well, look at this side. Yeah, that's nice. I am finding that I don't really like knitting with acrylic yarn at all. I like to use natural fibers. It's really rough on my hands. I have very, very sensitive hands and it literally makes them itch. So it's kind of a slow process, but I also really wanted to use up this yarn because I think it makes a great squid color. Because even though it is an acrylic yarn, it's not a solid base. It's definitely more of a tonal colorway, and I like that. So it was kind of like a I want to use it, but I don't want to use it kind of thing. And so I'm just using it and powering through. But the way that you make the bottom is you start here and then you make the bottom, and then you have to start the actual bottom part separately, and then you pick up stitches from or part of the body, and then you pick up stitches from the base, and then you knit around, and then you go around to the next one until you get to the end, and you just keep doing that till the bottom covers up the whole squid. So he has like a flat bottom like that, and he has his little 8 tentacles coming off of him. When I first started this, I had all of these live stitches on VPNs, and it was just a hot mess trying to shove this thing in a project bag at night, and I'm so afraid that my cat's going to just try to take off running with it, because he does that quite frequently in the middle of the night. I have to hide my projects in the closet. I put them on some stitch holders right now, and it's been a much easier process. I was kind of making these all exactly the same, but I want my squid to have personality, so I'm kind of doing a little bit different on each leg. So he can kind of have some curl legs and more straighter legs. It's just, I think, a little bit fun. Then I will go in and put these two together, do the side fans, and then do his eyeball socket things. I don't know what she calls them. But that's what I'm working on, and I have this much of this yarn left. And so I'm just ready to be done with this because I don't like how it feels in my hands. Talk about Whip 2. Whip 2 is my poncho that I'm making out of the Knitting Fever yarn. And I really am enjoying this process. This is how this is looking. This yarn is kind of a gradient yarn. You can see the slight color change here. What I've done is gone in and try to really separate the colors. And I'm doing that so I can kind of make this more of a gradient style poncho. This is the Lands de Nord and is the Poma Tweed Luxury line. It is a sport weight yarn and it comes 656 yards per 5.29 ounces or 150 grams. I'm really enjoying this. It's really a relaxing crochet thing to do. You can see where I join the yarn. I try to always join the yarn on the same side so I can definitely have an inside and an outside. I'm using a 4mm G hook for this. I've been using my furls when I'm sitting at home. I don't like to travel with them because I'm so afraid they're going to get broken. So if I'm taking this somewhere like to my mother-in-law's, I just grab my clover and wire. It's not as fun and it's not as pretty, but it gets the job done, and I feel like I don't have to worry about breaking my hook. But I really, really am enjoying this. You can see I kind of stopped mid-row. They're all even. And this is a simple, simple repeat. But this is called Amy by Brenda Gobbler. And the original one uses sport weight as well. She uses a F hook, but I did not like the fabric I was getting with the F hook. And I did do a test swatch with this. I think it's over there though. And it doesn't have that much growth, but I am also making mine a little bit taller than the original pattern because I'm not a short person. I want it to be kind of longer on me, even on my arm. And so basically you crochet this ginormous rectangle and then you fold it over, and that kind of what does the poncho kind of style thing. And then you do a border and then a neckline. But I held it up and I want to have it so that it kind of comes, you know, on my arm long enough like that. So that's kind of where I was thinking with this. That's my theory. So that's why I did mine a little bit longer. And if it does grow, it's not going to matter because again, I'm like a Jolly Green Giant. it's gonna be fine. It's not gonna get too short. The other whip that I've kind of been working on is my socks. And this is a very long outstanding whip that I've been slowly working away on. And this is being kept in one of the makeup bags that I got at Aldi's. I've talked about this before. I love this bag, by the way. It opens like a little tote. So when I'm traveling, I can just set it in the seat beside me or on the ground, and I don't have to worry about my yarn rolling away. So use it for like a yarn bowl. I have my socks, both of them, so that they're ready for their heels. I've talked about these numerous times, so I'm not going to go into too much detail, but yeah, they're ready for their heels. They're at the same spot. And I just need to sit down and do the heels, and then I can use these for purse knitting for doing the cuffs, because heels, I do a fish lips kiss heel. That's what I typically do. I might change it. I don't know. I kind of want to try a different heel. I do not like a gusset and flap. Sorry for all you diehard gusset and flappers. It's not for me. I don't like it. I don't it's like very textury feeling on the back of my heel, and I may try a different kind. I may just stick with my German short row fish lips conceal because I know it works and it's comfortable. Oh, let me tell you about the yarn because you might be new to my channel and I don't want to not talk about the yarn. So this is the Amsterdam Step 6 yarn. It is a German yarn. This happens to be the colorway, I think it's called fall or October or August. I have to reference my notes. It's called autumn. Every word but the right word. It's called Autumn and it's color number 111. It comes in like a big cake and I split them so I can do 2 at a time. Although this time I'm doing them 2 concurrently. So I have 2 separate DPNs going. And I was playing around with the toes. That's why I have 2 different toes if you're new here. I was just trying to, they're socks for me. So I don't care if the toes are different. I just kind of wanted to see which toe I like better. These are not my first socks. I think these are like my 9th or 10th pair of socks in it in my whole time. I just don't knit a lot of socks because I have big feet. They just get really mundane, which is why these have been on my needle since 2021. So there's that. I do like them. And I do want them before fall. So I kind of need to get crack-a-lacking on them. And those are my 3 main whips, I think. Let me look. Yes, it is. I have a lot more stuff on my hooks and needles. I'll link my Ravelry page down below in case you want to check it out. It's kind of embarrassing to see all my whips. I'm kind of like a whipaholic, but I like to have options because sometimes I just want to work on something completely different than what I'm working on, and I do that as like a way to escape. So I have no shame in it, and that's why I have a bunch of whips. And I kind of have a lustful eye when it comes to new projects. I see a new project and I'm like, ooh, let me try you out. And so I do. And so I started, which that's kind of what happened with the Bag O' Day shawl. I wasn't going to cast that on or start that, not really cast that on, but I did. But it's very pretty, and I'm using some Hobie yarn. I think it's Hobie. It was like one of the, I'm pretty sure it's Hobie Twister. It could be a yarn art color. I just launched the stitch marker at you, and I do apologize about that. I don't know where. So I'm using this on a 4.5 7 US 7 Clover Omar. If we're gonna just get like cold honest truth here. If I'm not using one of my furls hooks, I'm grabbing a Clover and Bar. I have tried a lot of other crochet hooks in my life. I do want to get some Sorellas and try them because I'm curious to how that metal feels and if it's a lot like the Knitter's Pride because they look just like the Knitter's Pride that are black and silver. And I have a feeling that's who their manufacturer is. I don't know. But I want to try one of those eventually. And I kind of want to try a O-Fire hook. I keep seeing them. They're like a kind of like a furls, but definitely more price efficient for today's world. And I love my furls. I really do. I really want to order one of the new metals. I just don't have it in the budget, and I'm not going to do that right now because I don't need it. I have other hooks, so there's no point spending that money. But this is some yarn that I got from one of the Hirschner's yarn sales where they have the buy 2 cakes for so and so dollars, $14.99. I got this, but it is identical to the Hobie's Twister summer yarn that came out several years ago. And so this is my Bag O' Day. I think she calls it the Composed of Madness shawl. This is a pretty high cotton acrylic yarn. I don't remember its specific details. I'll have to reference the page on my Ravelry and I'll put it down below. But I really like how this is working up. And I don't even remember what row I'm on. I think I have it in my notes, but it's really pretty. And I love the detail in this. I really just need to finish the shawl. I really enjoyed crocheting this. I just had other stuff come in front of my eyeballs. Okay, so let's talk about plans for the month of August because it is creeping up on us faster than I do not know what. And thank goodness things are going to be kind of slowing down for us. I say that, but we also homeschool. But it seems to be a lot slower for me in the fall because I'm not doing all the gauntlet of church camps. That was truly a gauntlet. I honestly don't think I slept for 3 weeks, besides 1 to 3 hours. It was kind of ridiculous. It was a lot of fun, but it did put a lot of toll on my body. And there was hardly zero knitting or crochet time, like none. I did like 1 or 2 rows here and there, and that was about it. And I really can tell that when I do things like that, I I kind of struggle without the knitting and the crochet because for me they are a automatic cut off of my brain. So once I get that yarn and that crochet hook or that needles in my hands, it's like my body is cued to know that okay, this is a time of rest and a time of reflection and a time of kind of meditation, and I need that. As I've gotten older, I realized that I need that. It helps me to just kind of process emotions and thoughts. And it's really helped me just kind of slow down and just breathe. Because if not, I tend to try to just keep on going till I can't go anymore. And that's not very healthy. So I'm excited about jumping back into my restful state of fall and winter. And knitting and crocheting as my kids do their schoolwork and just kind of being there with them in the moment and not having to rush and go. So in saying that, for the rest of the month I'm going to be working on those whips, primarily that squid and then whatever else next. And then going into August, I will be continue working on those, but I'm going to pull in a new project because what's another project matter in my life with all my whips? And that is going to be something along the lines of a hat. I just got this book in the mail. This was something that I ordered. I've had this on my wish list forever. And I really want to get a hat out to K&K Crochet. I really wanted to use this book because this book is super cool. It allows you to make different hats. And it has like these pages that you can flip over to really design your own hat. I've showed a book like this before, one of my top monsters books, and I just love books in this kind of format. And so I'm going to do a flip through of this book, and so you can see this, and I'll go ahead and drop the link to where you can get this book down below. But I'm super excited about just sitting down and knitting some hats. It is so therapeutic to sit down and knit in the round, like y'all. It just does something for your soul and your mind to just knit in the round and have that repetitive process. And I'm so excited about that. I also would really like to start one of the monsters. And I just did a flip through of this book on my channel this week. So I will drop that link down below and put it in the cards for you so you can check that out. This is the new Megan Lapp book, and I mean, it is brand spanking new. This thing just came out on Tuesday of last week, and it is 351 pages of all kind of specification, modifications, options on how to make your own little monster. And I love her books, and the photography is just insane. It's awesome. Really hope to kind of get some of my whips down before October. That is my goal. For me, the first day of October. Okay, maybe not the exact first day. Sometimes it happens before the first day of October. October just happens to be my birthday month, and so I get a little giddy that month because I'm someone that I'm like, let's celebrate all month long. And so I kind of try to use my family to do all the things so I can celebrate my birthday all month long. It's fun. But usually around the 1st of October, I just kind of really get into this, let's decorate the whole house for fall because the fall season is when I truly just come alive and I feel so much like myself. So I really enjoy decorating with fall colors and getting the little pumpkins out, putting them everywhere. It just really brings me a lot of joy. So I would like to get as many whips as I possibly can done before October. And y'all can mark my words. We're going to see how many whips I can do before the month of October. Starting in October, I would like to really focus on some fall and winter related projects. Mainly like that Jimmy Beans kit that I got last year, or was that the year before? I can't even remember. I did the Jimmy Beans advent calendar and I've only made 2 of the little ornaments out of it. I really need to get that done so I can hang them on my tree this year. Because if you are new to my channel, last year was the right during December, the first week of December, I got to move into the shed. Now, granted, there was no heat out here. About into January is when your girl was freezing, and I was sitting out here trying to record and talk to y'all all with all the knitwear, like with the heat blanket on. I have this fireplace out here right now for the winter. It kind of did a decent job over the winter, but not super amazing because I didn't have it running all the time. So at night it would get super cold and I was trying to heat it up, and it uses a lot of electricity doing that. And so I really don't want to do that. I do have the portable air conditioner out here right now, but I'm trying to get to the point where I can order my mini split. And then that's going to go right there. And that should really keep this whole room complete temperature, and it's very, very quiet. So I'm very excited about that. So that way we can actually sit out here and record more, and I'm not so frozen when I'm trying to talk to you in the wintertime. But I really would like to sit out here and be able to record by the tree and have a Christmas fun season out here with you all. I did not order an advent calendar this year. I just do not have it in my budget because I'm trying to get that mini split. And so I'm not going to put myself in debt, I guess, and or like not really in debt, but where I feel pressure. I don't like having pressure of money and having bills. So I did not get to do that this year, which means I really want to kind of focus on one of my previous advent calendars because I've gotten several that I've opened over the years and I haven't even used them. So it'd be wasteful for me to buy a new advent calendar. And this is kind of transitioning into a conversation that I've been wanting to have. And that is overconsumption. Because as I've gotten older, I'll be turning 44 in October. I really don't buy a lot of stuff. Like I have a lot out here, yes, but this is years and years of buying. This did not happen overnight at all. I've been buying yarn since 2013, and I've gotten some really good sales over the years when local yarn stores have closed down. And I do knit and crochet a lot. I used to knit and crochet a lot more prior to becoming to my mother-in-law's caretaker, but that's kind of slow down my crafting time, which is fine. This is just the season that I'm in. But I've also been very selective and very reserved on shopping in the last few years. And it's not because I don't want to support small makers and dyers. It's just I have a lot of really nice yarn that I need to work through. And so that is my focus. So that's why you really don't see any more big hauls on this channel. There was a couple of hauls I did about a year and a half ago, a year ago, but that's about it. The biggest haul I think was that Hobie yarn. I'll share it down below. And I only got all that because it was such a good deal. And I can use that to make stuff. You know, I love that weight yarn because where I live in Alabama. But I just don't buy yarn and other things anymore. I just don't. Our economy has gotten a little high, and I'm not trying to get political or anything. That's not what this conversation's about. But I think everyone feels it. And we are a small business owner, and so we feel it. And we just, I would rather be more reserved in what I buy and more mindful in my purchases so that I can enjoy the things I enjoy and enjoy spending time out here with you guys and making videos. So that's all I have today. I will get the unbagging out to you as soon as I can, as well as that flip through. I really hope you enjoyed today's video of just sitting down and chatting with me and kind of catching up on some projects. If you enjoyed this, please hit that thumbs up. I greatly appreciate it. It is free for you to do, and it really helps out my channel. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button if you would like to talk more yarn with me. I try really hard to stay really on top of all my comments because I really want this to be a community where you and I have a yarn relationship where we talk about yarn and the projects and the things that bring us joy. So I really hope you drop me a comment down below and maybe tell me what you're working on, or if you're new to my channel, how you found me, what your favorite yarn is, and how do you feel about your stash if you have one? Or are you someone who only buys yarn when you need it? I would love to know all those things. And until next time, I hope you have a wonderful week. Hugs, love, and all the fluff.